Less than 5.6, adding and subtracting decimals. Front-end estimation is a method for estimating the sum of two or more numbers. In example 1, the table shows a household's electricity usage for 4 months. How many kilowatt hours were used in September and October? To find out how many were used in September and October, we add them together. Remember, when you add decimals together, you line up the decimal points. 2 plus 8 is 10, carry the 1. 1 plus 7 plus 8 is 16, carry the 1. Remember to bring down the decimal point. 1 plus 1 is 2, 9 plus 0 is 9, 4 plus 5 is 9. So you have 992.60 kilowatt hours used. Part B is how many more. This means we're going to subtract December and November. We're going to put the bigger number on top, which is 538. Now, November didn't have as many place values, so we're going to add a 0 as a placeholder. Line up the decimal points. 6 minus 0 is 6, 9 minus 9 is 0, 2 minus 3 we can't do, borrow from the 8, make this a 12, 12 minus 3 is 9, bring down the decimal point. 7 minus 0 is 7, 3 minus 1 is 2, and we don't need the 0 for 5 minus 5. So we have 27.906 more kilowatt hours used in December than November. Go ahead and try 1, 2, and 3. I will try to set the first ones up for you so you can figure it out. For example, number 1, different signs. So I'm going to put the bigger number on top, which is 4, because 4 is greater than 1. Line up the decimal point, and they're different signs, so I subtract. You end up with 2.703. Number 2, now be careful. They're different signs, and which one's bigger? Well, if you add a 0 here, you kind of take away the decimal points. 48 is less than 60, so I'm going to put the 0.60 on top and the 0.48 on the bottom. So you can say 6/10 is greater than 48 hundredths. Subtract. Bring down the decimal point. You have 12 hundredths. Same sign, so we are actually just adding. Again, you still could put the bigger number on top. It might make it easier for you. Adding, it doesn't really matter. Add a placeholder. 8, 5, 2. Bring down the decimal point, and you have 13. Be careful though, that's not the answer. Because they're both negative, the answer is negative 13 and 258 thousandths. Try 4 through 6. Be careful, just because it's subtracting doesn't mean you actually subtract. This one you do subtract. Set it up. Add a placeholder. Need to borrow. .906. In number 5, we add the negative, and now I have two negatives. So we're actually going to add this together. 26 and 91 hundredths, and it is negative because they're both negative. Be careful about the sign. Number 6, I'm going to add the opposite, and now they're both positive. So I can just add them together. Add placeholders. 6.165, 6 and 165 thousandths. In example 2, we can solve equations with decimals. Y minus 2.845, well, to get rid of the subtracting 2.485, we add the opposite, which is positive 2.845. And again, if you need to change this to adding a negative, you should see that the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. Add that to both sides. This becomes 0. You're left with y. You're going to have to line up the decimal points. Y equals 6 and 755 thousandths. Try example 3. Be careful, this is adding the opposite. Two sides to the problem. Here's the x. So we need to clear the 2.5 by adding negative or subtracting, but we add negative 2.5. Again, this is positive, so we add negative, that clears it on the left side. Now we have different signs, so we're actually going to subtract. Different signs is subtracting. X equals 4.59, which is B. Front-end estimation is what we're going to do for example 4. You want to estimate the cost of your school supplies. The cost of the item shown, including tax, is the cost of the item shown more or less than your $40 budget? Well, what we do is we want to add the front-end digits, the dollar signs. Okay, so let's do that first. So kind of ignore this right here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, add the 1, you have $37. And then we want to estimate the sum of the remaining digits, the cents. I would say 20 cents and like 80 cents is $1. Again, we're estimating. Again, you can think of this as 20 cents and 80 cents. 40 cents and 60 cents is another $1. So $2 is 2. 37 plus 2 is 39. So your cost of your items is $39, which is less than your $40 budget. That's front-end estimation, where you estimate the front end of the numbers and then estimate the remaining digits. Please try 7 through 9. Two sides to the equation, we need to move the negative 0.18 by adding the opposite to both sides. This is actually subtracting. T equals negative 1.15. Number 8, this is adding a negative. To get rid of a negative, we add a positive. Add the 0 and just add this one. Z equals 33.91. Number 9, we subtract or add the opposite, which is a negative. In this case, I would definitely add a negative because now you can see that they're both negative, so I'm just adding here. And you keep the negative sign. Negative 16.78 is equal to S.